The following is a college course based on the textbooks Marketing and Marketing the Core, written by Karen Berkowitz Hartley and Rodelius, and published by McGraw-Hill Irwin Publishers.
Playing a game of golf is a fairly ordinary accomplishment for most people. But for Ron Harding, having this kind of freedom and mobility is just short of a miracle.
Well, in 1978, I was a semi-truck driver. I was on my way to the East Coast, and I was involved in a accident where it had snowed heavily, and a lady came down the wrong side of the freeway, not intentionally, and we kind of collided. I tried to get out of her way and go to the woods. My truck tipped over. At the same time, it threw me out and cut both my legs off. Right there.
One of the products that allow him to pursue the activities he enjoys is an innovative prosthetic device created by a company called Freedom Innovations. Anticipating the needs of clients like Ron is vitally important to Freedom Innovations' future business success. Identifying consumer trends and knowing how to take advantage of them is an essential part of any good marketing program.
We got into this business almost 18 years ago originally, and we were working with an amputee who wanted to run and jump, and pretty much at that point the business was peg-laid peat. That was about it. The technology was a block of wood with foam around it with a metal tube that they cut off to length and attached to a socket. The amputee that we worked with, he wanted to run, jump, he wanted to do his karate moves, and so we came up with a simple, flexible, lightweight material and did this in a way that made it so that he could do these activities. We came up with 4 new feet on top of those that give you this smoother gait, but still you can run and do the activities, any activity that you want to, and feel comfortable in that foot.
The founders of Freedom Innovations identified an important need in the prosthetic market and found a way to fulfill it. They also discovered opportunities and threats external to the company. This process of surveying the current marketplace to research those uncontrollable environmental factors and to anticipate potential trends is called environmental scanning.
Environmental scanning is very critical in terms of not only the setup of the company, but in continuing to go forward with the company. And it is for a couple of reasons. To understand exactly where you want to focus the company is very important. We took a look at actually the competitive environment that was there, and we also took a look at what the profile of the customer was. We took a look at the regulatory environment that was there. We took a look at financial indicators that were there in terms of reimbursement of medical devices.
The overall market for prosthetic products is fairly obviously limited, but it's a fairly good-sized market also. Obviously, there are many amputees that get amputated for many reasons.
Monitoring changes in the marketing environment is not only crucial in launching a business, it is also a necessary practice of established businesses that need to anticipate new trends to stay competitive.
I think every company really needs to take a look at the environment, the economy. It gives us, from the marketing perspective, a better way to position the company. It allows us to know what our market is and how to position the company as far as what kind of marketing tools we want to use.
Our environmental scan consisted of speaking with 2 predominant groups. One was amputees, and the second was the prosthetists. In our industry, the prosthetists are the primary purchasers of the products. They are the technical professionals that actually fit the patient with the prosthetic device and choose the different componentry that they'll use based on the potential of the amputee to get back into certain areas of their lives.
Freedom Innovation contacted me at Sunny Hills Orthopedics while I was directing the prosthetic services, and they knew about me running a nice facility and seeing a lot of amputee patients.
We asked them questions concerning what they needed and then gathered that information. And then we also focused on the amputee as well, because although they are a derivative customer, they are the reason why we're actually in business, to be able to provide them high technology products. And so if we can provide products that amputees are looking for, that makes the prosthetist's job easier, and therefore the prosthethists are interested in purchasing from our company.
So start off facing that way and put your left foot with the new prosthesis here and your right foot on the compensation plate. So this is a ground reaction force basically through the foot.
One of the things about Freedom, you find that they really come to you and ask you how you feel or what you would like to have done to make it better for you. And so they're extremely interested in the amputee himself rather than make a product and put it out there with hopes that, you know, you're comfortable with it.
What we found was that the market was very clearly divided into comfort versus performance, and that the prosthetist saw that and the amputee saw that. So, in other words, the high performance feet that were on the market were very uncomfortable for the amputee to wear.
As far as environmental trends that our scanning covered, it let us know that there was really an opportunity for a prosthetic foot that was lighter, that had a smooth rollover so that they would not have a jerky motion.
Environmental trends usually develop from 5 main forces: social, economic, technological, competitive, and regulatory. These forces can affect a firm's marketing strategies in a number of ways, and environmental scanning can help to focus those efforts. For example, to understand why amputees were demanding more active prosthetics, the marketers at Freedom Innovations considered the social forces that might be driving the shift in the marketplace. Social forces include factors such as demographics, which encompass age, gender, ethnicity, income, and occupation. These forces can have a profound effect on marketing. In the United States, the largest growing demographic segment includes family units headed by people over 50 years old. The main reason for this graying of America is that baby boomers, people born between the years 1946 and 1964, are getting older. This demographic will have the most effect on Freedom Innovations.
As the graying of America occurs and as more and more folks are aging, we're going to see more and more amputations. Adult onset diabetes is exploding, and that's due to diet and several other factors. But those are a very large population that will be looking at amputations unless something changes in their lives dramatically. So as that happens, it will be critically important for the prosthetic industry to continue to advance and evolve with them.
While aging baby boomers are a more likely target for this product now, the influence of succeeding generations will affect the prosthetic market. They include Generation X, which covers those born between 1965 and 1976, and Generation Y, all those born after 1976.
Oh, hello. I like those ones. I think they're cute. Yeah? I think they'll look cuter with the foot shell being a little smaller. Put it back up. Put flats on.
We're really focusing at a more active person, and therefore they would fall under a younger demographic than the normal. And even though there's a larger market in the diabetic and with the aging population, which is a true statement, we have a very advanced product.
Another force to be considered in environmental scanning is the economy. Economic forces relate to the income, expenditures, and resources of a household or business. A major concern to all businesses is whether the economy is in an inflationary state or a recessionary state. Inflation is when the cost to produce and buy products goes up and so does the price. If prices rise faster than the average consumer income, consumer buying power will decrease. Recession is a period of general slow economic growth that often leads to higher unemployment levels. This can also affect consumers' ability to buy goods and services. For most businesses, consumer income is an important factor. It doesn't matter how good a product is if it's not affordable. Although the purchase of a prosthesis is mostly financed through insurance and Medicare, economic considerations are of vital importance to Freedom Innovations.
Oftentimes for the prosthetist is looking at a loss. The difficulty for a prosthetist is this is a labor of love for them. There are very few prosthetists that are millionaires. They really are in it because they want to do good for people.
When it comes to a prosthetist, it's a main factor what kind of insurance the patient carry. Some insurance will pay just one leg in the lifetime. There is some insurance that will pay 70% from the cost of the prosthetics, which can range between $10,000 to $50,000.
There's also various government codes, and so our product needs to meet the various codes so that the reimbursement schedules will allow the prosthetist to be reimbursed at a fair level. So in fact, we have positioned it not as the least expensive product on the market, but the best value.
Freedom Innovations prosthetics fall into the mid-price range. With the cost of medical devices expected to increase in the future, this strategy of providing a high-quality product at a reasonable cost will help to propel the company's business.
Medical device costs are skyrocketing, insurance costs are skyrocketing, and so the trending that's going on within the prosthetic industry as well as the rest of the medical industry is how do we try to become more and more competitive with costs of fitting patients while at the same time being able to provide high technology.
Technological forces are another major factor in environmental scanning. New inventions or innovations in applied science and engineering replace existing products and open up new opportunities. Freedom Innovations expects technological changes to affect them in several ways. The company may even create some of these changes, as it has in the past with its advanced prosthetic designs.
The initial feet were actually made with part graphite and part fiberglass. With the advent of the carbon and it becoming stronger, having more strain capability, it was obviously the right choice to go to for feet because of its low density, its high strength, and its high stiffness. Through the years, it has improved. These improvements in materials makes it possible to make feet stronger, lighter, and those basic improvements we are working on all the time and increasing that.
We're in the process of looking in several different areas, looking at smart technology. And you can do smart technology either with smart materials or you can do it with electronics. And so looking at computerized artificial limbs, there are a couple of products that are actually out on the market today that are knee devices, but there are no products that are actually foot devices for a variety of different reasons. And also looking at smart materials, so actually materials that act like they have a computer, but actually it's just based on the material property that responds differently given different conditions. So those two technologies we're exploring in our research areas in order to look at the next generation of products.
As far as future trends and how technology will affect the sales of our business, the amputee is becoming more and more discerning, and so is the prosthetist, in what they want, what they expect. And our goal is to keep raising the performance of our feet.
Not only will changing technology influence how Freedom Innovations manufactures and markets its products, electronic commerce will also affect how the company communicates with its customers. Electronic commerce is any activity that uses electronic communication in marketing. The most prevalent form of this is the use of the Internet to communicate and track inventory, distribution, and the payment of goods and services.
Yeah, there's actually a significant change in terms of technology, utilization of the Internet in marketing of the products in the prosthetic industry. There is, as I said, there is more and more focus on speaking with the amputees, not only in Freedom Innovations, but now other companies are also following suit.
Yes, I do go to the websites and check out different products. So I'm pretty in tune with what's on the market and what's available.
A patient maybe can come and look at the site of the manufacturer or read some testimonials from different prosthetists or a patient, and he can get a lot of knowledge about the product through the internet.
The prosthetists and the prosthetic offices are also utilizing the internet more and more. And so the opportunity to actually create online ordering, information in terms of clinical evaluations for prosthetists, looking at the concept of having prosthetists be able to exchange technical cases back and forth, amputees to be able to find services for them and to have help rooms and things, and to expand that out internationally.
During their scan, marketers also consider competitive forces in a particular market. A company needs to research all the factors that drive competition, including how hard it is to break into that market, who else provides the same goods and services, and how a business can gain a competitive advantage over rival companies.
In the world of prosthetic feet, there are two very large companies, and they have purchased others, so they have grown through acquisition. There are then a couple of mid-market companies, and there are several very small.
As we have gotten back into the business of improving what we feel are better feet, we see that this competitive trend will probably increase again as far as making better feet and improving what the amputee will get over the next few years. And we plan on being that driving force that forces not only ourselves, but the other two major competitors into that mode.
As a smaller player, Freedom Innovations intends to stay competitive, not only by technological innovations, but also by providing better customer service.
Customer service specialists are available that understand our products very, very well. Why this is different from our competition is almost like a Kmart in terms of product offering. They're not expert at any one thing. They're kind of generalists at everything. And so that doesn't provide the prosthetist what they need in order to be able to make the selection that they want.
Freedom Innovations was founded on quality products and customer service at the highest level. We have people at the plant that are there, so we always respond to any of the prosthetists. And again, it's just part of what Dick Myers and his philosophy in building the company is that we wanted to have the products, but we had to have the service that goes with it.
Freedom Innovations also works to surpass its competition by offering a better product and providing greater value. This ultimately benefits the amputee.
A prosthetist, when his decision to choose a component for a patient, he looks at basically it's a warranty, its durability, and a price.
There's a tremendous focus on trying to reduce costs, and that's impacting the choice and selection of the prosthetist. He's looking at what's the maximum reimbursement he can get. At the same time, he's looking at what's in the best interest of the patient. And there sometimes is a real struggle for the prosthetist to do. Most prosthetists do the right thing, which is choose what's best for the patient. But at the same time, there still is that very strong pull. And so it's important, I think, for the whole industry to look at how we can continue to be more and more competitive with pricing and provide those high technology products to the patients and to the prosthetists.
All businesses are controlled by a variety of rules and regulations. Environmental scans include a survey of those regulatory forces that could affect that particular industry. Regulations consist of the restrictions that state, federal, and international laws place on business activities. Most of these regulations are designed to protect consumers and ensure competition and fair business practices. Prosthetics are considered a medical device and must be fitted by a medical professional. Because of this, the industry does have to submit to some regulations.
Our industry is regulated on multiple levels. The prosthetist is actually regulated in most states. Certification is required, and certification is provided by a couple of different certifying bodies. The components themselves are actually governed by the FDA. They are considered medical devices. There are Class 1 devices, Class 2 devices, and Class 3 devices. The Class 1 devices are the least stringent in terms of the requirements on them. They would be things like our prosthetic foot products. They would be things like toothbrushes and Q-tips. In order to get a device approved for sale in the United States that's in the prosthetic industry, there's a significantly less amount of work that needs to be done than to get something like a heart valve approved.
Class 1 product is not that tough to get out in the marketplace. You have to register basically with the FDA, and you have to follow good manufacturing processes. Other Class 1 devices are simple things like bandages. So the feet, even though they're regulated, it is not to a high level.
The prosthetic industry is also self-regulated. Self-regulation means that the industry itself applies restrictions and guidelines.
When rolling out a new product in our industry, there's very little requirement that a company has to do from a standpoint of external regulations. Obviously, there's a great deal of self-monitoring that goes on, and that's required of all companies, not only from a standpoint of competitively. If you come out with a very poor quality product, the competition is going to eat you alive over it. But at the same time, there's the impact that there is still a liability that's presumed when a product is released.
The problem with self-regulation is that there isn't a way to enforce guidelines if a business decides it doesn't want to follow them.
The industry has been, in my mind, very remiss about the degree of clinical evaluations that have been done. Typically in the industry, you make 8 or 10 products as samples, and you put them out on some people, and if they think it's okay, you kind of send out the next wave of them and see what people think of them. And so what Freedom Innovations does is we go through a very extensive and rigorous evaluation process where the first thing we do is we send out alpha evaluation forms where we get patients to give us feedback on the performance of the product at its basic design level.
I can't wait to get the right one done like this, because the suction makes a world of difference.
Oh, it's not.
I've seen Ron for the last 16 years in this facility. He was like a guy that can evaluate a product and come back to me and tell me, you know, what he thinks about it. And usually I would take his recommendation and apply it to this facility.
He asked me to come in one Saturday morning and asked me if I could try some new feet that are on the market. And he's done that several times, and I've tried several different feet and several different components.
We get the feedback on that. We take those designs. When that design is optimized, we then go out to a much larger, broader population, between 150 and 300 candidates, and we actually will send out finished devices, but still under a clinical protocol. And it allows us to collect the clinical data and publish that data to ensure that our products are actually where they need to be. And so really kind of pushing that self-regulation envelope to a whole new level.
Regulations can also help protect a company's competitive position through the use of patent law. This gives inventors of new technology the right to exclude others from making, using, or selling products that infringe on the patented invention.
We feel it is necessary to protect our technology and to have protected technology. So we do have patents on our patents pending on our products.
Our patents protect us in the sense that if someone duplicates our products, we sue them. And so that's one of the significant elements by way it protects us. But it also is a good way that it indicates our intellectual prowess and our capability, and it provides some type of assurance to the industry as well that we actually know what we're doing when we're patenting our own designs.
Every market is unique in its demands and opportunities. But for any business to succeed and remain competitive, environmental scanning is an absolute necessity.
We'll continue to scan our industry and take a look at all the environments that are there as we go forward. It's critical to understand, because it's changing so rapidly, it's critical to understand what the requirements are, not only from the amputee, but also from the prosthetist, and also from the regulatory agencies that govern it, from Medicare, from Congress, from all these different elements.
Part of our mission is to continually stay competitive in the market, and to do that, we are always looking at trends. Every show we go to, every time we meet with a prosthetist, every VA hospital we go to, and we have a series of what we call amputee advocates, which are individuals throughout the country that wear our product and are excited about our product, and we're continually asking them to test the market to see what is important, what is needed, and then we will try to address that.
I think the future holds for our industry a tremendous amount of promise and also a tremendous amount of evolution. There are significant implications that are going on right now in terms of Medicare to our industry as well as to many other industries. And I think that it's important for all of the device manufacturers as well as the prosthetists, the entire community, to look at how we're going to be able to continue to treat the amputee as we go forward. That is different than it has been for many, many years, but as we're evolving and as costs are becoming more and more of a component in the selection process and reimbursements are becoming more and more difficult to obtain, that's going to require some significant change. I think that the industry has to stay on top of that, keeping our finger on the pulse, if you will, of what's going on in the industry and continuing to look at the different users and providers as the industry evolves as critical to our success at Freedom Innovations.
Keeping a finger on the pulse of industry changes and trends is key to the success of any business. And the most effective tool to monitor those uncontrollable factors in the environment is scanning.